How are you doing today? Yeah, I know I didn't make a video yesterday. I was very, very tired. I didn't even work out yesterday. I've been trying to work out again. With COVID hitting last year, it affected my gym activity. But I'm getting better. So, anyway, suffice to say, at work last night, um, well, I, well, let me just start by saying this. A few months ago, I discovered the Dive Jackson Hinkle show on YouTube, and I generally like his program. In fact, I've grown quite fond of it in the last few months. And although he is a practicing Marxist-Leninist, those are his words, not mine, and I am a Soc-Dem, Social Democrat. My words, definitely. I do appreciate his support for freedom of speech, which is something that the left seems to be lacking these days, unfortunately. Many areas of the left. Leftists who are to the right of Jackson Hinkle and to the right of myself. Now, I was not aware of a very low-key feud that's been going on between Vaush and Shoe0nHead. And I keep in touch also on YouTube, watching their videos as well. And last night, as I said, I caught Jackson Hinkle's program while I was at work, and it was very interesting listening to it. And suffice to say that I take issue with Vaush for opposing these Medicare for All marches. I do. I really do. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of this Jackson Hinkle and Shoe0nHead thing and his comment on Vaush. And if there is a little bit of a commercial that breaks out in the video, please just be patient. I can't stand these little pop-up ads, and I'm trying to do something about it. So let me just go ahead and we'll get started. Yeah, perfect. Okay, we'll get started, and I will share my comments very shortly.
To the march you went to. The march was full of left-wingers. Actually, oh my god, you know what? Fuck it! We're gonna talk about the Medicare for All march. Holy shit! Alright. I have never been more angry at the online left than I was when I went to the fucking Medicare for All march. So I only found out about that march like 3 days before it happened, because nobody was fucking talking about it. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to this march thing. So I go, it's amazing, high energy, great people, talking to all different types of people about, Medicare for All. Everyone's got these cool signs and everything, and everyone's super passionate, about what they're marching with, and we marched all through the city, like, shouting, and, like, we got some chants going, like, me and the group I was with, like, fuck Jeff Bezos was really funny to shout, like, just random shit. It was a great time. There was great speakers, extremely smart speakers, talking about, like, Amazon unionization, weed legalization, just a whole bunch of shit. And, like, great people. Great speeches, very moving. Like, I felt like fucking crying at some parts. It was incredible. I was pumped up. I was like, fuck yeah! Medicare for All, let's fucking go! Healthcare, right?
I share that sentiment as well. For those of you who were at the Los Angeles March for Medicare for All, it was extremely high energy. There were tons of people, and just a great vibe overall. Like, it's incredible and unique to have a vibe that's like so passionate and angry, but also like so loving for the people that are there. It really was special. I had a great time.
Am I right? And then I get home, right? Expecting, like, I posted some pictures of us at the march. I expected, yo, cool, or whatever. Isn't that the march that Jimmy Dore went to? Bitch, do I look like I give a fuck? I was in New York. Jimmy Dore was in California. Marches happened 40 different states, all over the state. This was a national march. Thousands of people fucking marching, right? New York probably had like 100, like 400, maybe more than that. Huge, like everywhere. And the motherfuckers on like, is it the Jimmy Dore thing? I don't give a fuck. Who cares? So one guy that you don't like tainted an entire national fucking march.
It really is crazy if you like stop and think about it, right? Because Jimmy Dore, for like, I think Jimmy's great, right? You guys know that, but like Jimmy actually was like the leader of like pushing for force the vote. He supported the March for Medicare for All, but it was actually grassroots activists who organized the marches for Medicare for All. There was what, like 50 or 60 or something of those marches all across the country, maybe even more. I can't remember exactly, but like, holy shit, dude! Like, everyone's brains were breaking during the March for Medicare for All, which, by the way, Cori Bush showed up to in D.C. and then refused to sign on or adhere to the policy aims of, right? She refused to say that, yes, I support the aims of this group, but literally, like, Jimmy Dore exactly lives rent-free in all these shit-libs' heads, and like, he didn't even organize this shit. It was like grassroots activists, some of whom were from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's own district. They're her constituents, and they're like, oh, heaven forbid they have a voice of their own. Fuck those poor people without healthcare. Literally, these are unemployed people organizing for healthcare in the middle of a pandemic, and they're like, yeah, but Jimmy Dore supports it, so I can't. This really isn't about healthcare. I can't be there. I can't. This is all a political theater. It's an act to attack the squad. It's like, no. This is organized by poor people and working class people who need healthcare. Well, I don't understand how people like Vaush, who make, I would imagine, a good chunk of money, can sleep at night saying stuff like that. And not criticizing, smearing people who are just fighting for healthcare, basic human rights.
Shut the fuck! I don't give a shit. Like, is that real? Like, okay, Medicare for all, right? For all includes Jimmy Dore. I don't give a shit if you don't like him. He's irrelevant. Who cares? One fucking guy. Like, you don't like a few of the speakers in some locations? Okay. And the most fucked up part, I went with a bunch of rightoids. I went with this group, what are they? New York State Populist League, right? Base people, I love them. They're my friends and they're cool, right? I went with them. I marched with them. I marched with rightoids to get Medicare for all, which was cool, right? And I get home, and the left is fucking mad about it.
Yes.
Are you... Black-pilled. Absolutely fucking black-pilled. Like, fuck. Holy shit. It was a great march. I talked to people. Like, okay, so my mom's a diabetic, right? We can afford all their insulin and stuff like that. I said this on Twitter. There were people there who cannot afford insulin, right? We're privileged. We can. They can't. I was marching for them.
This is where
Okay. Momentarily. Well, yeah. What do I got to say about that? June? Yeah? I want to let you know that I agree with you 100%. That's cool. Mwah. Oh, God. Anyway, okay. I was just being silly. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Vaush sometimes, but some of his takes can be kind of cringy. I mean, and sometimes he's really profoundly correct on shit too. Kind of recently described him as 50% shit lib, 50% dirtbag leftist. The dirtbag leftist part is a compliment. The shit lib part is not. You know, it is what it is. Vaush claiming that the Medicare for All March is not about universal health care. Dude, really? Really? I mean, if it isn't about universal health care, what the fuck is it about? I mean, sure, if it isn't about health care, these people who are marching around, and I've been trying to get something started in the Raleigh area, hopefully some kind of a Medicare for All march too. It's one of my most important issues. I mean, what the fuck would people be marching around for no reason for, really, honestly? And I mean, and Vaush, and he went and shit on forced to vote. And I know good people who oppose forced to vote. I'm unapologetic. I believe in forced to vote. Because the way I see it is that you could do forced to vote, you may or may not get Medicare for All. Asking Nancy Pelosi, pretty please, ain't working. And I'm going to be proven right about this. The Democrats have an opportunity through reconciliation, through little backdoor ways of getting Medicare for All down the road. They did it. They had an opportunity with Obama. They could have done full-blown Medicare for All, or they could have, instead of saying the public option, I think an easier sell would have been lowering the Medicare age down to 50. And that way, the Republicans would have gained big and later on and go through a few years, but Americans would be, like in this idea of Medicare for All down to 50. And then a future Democratic Congress can add in a Medicare for All for kids up to the age of 26, and then little by little, over the years, you can have a patched up Medicare for All system. I say, just metaphorically or figuratively speaking, blow up the whole goddamn private profit system, and let's have a national health service like they have in Great Britain. But that's what I say. But certainly, this whole pretty please to Nancy Pelosi and pretty please to President Biden and Vice President Harris. I mean, the hell with pretty please. We have been doing pretty please for decades, and it's got to stop. If we keep doing pretty please and we just weasel our way around, we're never going to get the system that we want, and that's the damn truth. And the sooner that our friends who means well, that don't want to do what it takes because they're going to be accused of being divisive or accused of being secretly pro-Trump or some shit like that. I mean, as soon as they realize just to get it over with and to fight for it, that's the better it's going to be. But, I'm going to be proven correct about this, but that's just my own take on it. Now, the thing about it is that ShoeonHead, June, she was correct about this whole Jimmy Dore thing, because it smells like Jimmy Dore this and Jimmy Dore that. When it comes to the left, there's not really a middle ground on Jimmy Dore. I've been accused of being a Jimmy Dore, simp or something like that, and I like Jimmy Dore sometimes. Sometimes Jimmy Dore's wrong. I got problems with Jimmy Dore always shitting on Bernie Sanders and AOC nonstop. But at the same time, they do deserve to be criticized too. So, I don't take the Young Turks line of, well, Bernie Sanders and AOC could do no wrong. The squad could do no wrong. And I do not take the line of Jimmy Dore that Bernie Sanders, AOC, and the squad are no different from Mitch McConnell. I don't take that line at all. I take a middle sensible approach that they're trying the best they can, but they're not, in some areas they're too chicken shit to do what's right as well. I mean, there's nuance and the truth between the two positions, the one of Jimmy Dore's and the ones of TYT, the actual truth is in the center. And that's what's going on. But I want to add that sadly what's relevant is that there are no signs of the squad at any of these Medicare for All marches. No signs of Bernie Sanders at these Medicare for All marches. And no sign of the Young Turks at these Medicare for All marches. And what a fucking shame it is. And especially, Young Turks. Shame on y'all for trying to sweep this shit under the rug. But I guess that Jeffrey Katzenberg money and that Buddy Roemer money is doing what it's supposed to do, and that is to go and make y'all MSNBC light, which is what's happened to the Young Turks. I hate to say it. But it was also offended. If you watched the video, I will put the link down later on, the whole thing from Jackson Hinkle, so you can watch it. But Vaush went on to do his passive aggressive attack on Shoe. Others have done that too, and like people criticizing Shoe for being involved with what they call the New York Populist League, because there are some, I guess, Trump-leaning Republicans who in that particular organization. Well, let me say this. In 1938, 39, 40, 41, just before World War II, Norman Thomas, who was the Socialist Party of America candidate for president from the year 1928 till 1948, he was the presidential candidate of the Socialist Party of America. One of the best political figures of the 20th century. He was Bernie Sanders before there was a fucking Bernie Sanders. And the thing about Norman Thomas, carrying on the tradition of Eugene Debs, the original Bernie Sanders, what I like to call it a social democratic trinity of sorts. Eugene Debs, Norman Thomas, and Bernie Sanders being the successor. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Norman Thomas worked with some isolationists prior to World War II. Some of these isolationists were basically Republican industrialists opposed to FDR's New Deal, and they were largely pro-isolationists. And it was not so much that Norman Thomas agreed with the politics of these isolationists. It was that Norman Thomas was pretty much a radical pacifist, and he was opposed to war. And he was actually a former Republican and joined the Socialist Party of America in 1917 because the Socialist Party was opposed to the Great War in Europe at that time. The Socialist Party of America has this well-known pacifist tradition in the movement. And the thing about it is, Shoe0nHead being with the New York Populist League, I don't think it's any more of a big deal than Norman Thomas in the late 30s, early 40s being with the American First Committee. Now, I would say that, what we know about the American First Committee, I don't particularly like what it stands for and everything like that. But the thing about it is, if you want to talk about pointing who's left and who's right and who's left and that sort of game, look at the Democratic Party and their non-commitment to Medicare for All. Even by some proponents, every 2 years they'll hint, well, I'm for Medicare for All. Well, that's very nice. You're for Medicare for All. If you're for Medicare for All, let's go ahead and fight for Medicare for All. But no, the Democratic Party here in the United States, because we have a two-party system, it acts as a center-left entity, even though if you really think about it, the Democratic Party is just nothing more than a slightly more sane, more secular version of the radical, right-wing, rabid, reactionary, in some cases, not all, racist Republicans. And that the Democratic Party is nothing more than a secular, quasi-warmed over, center-left, that's barely center-left, party in the U.S. political spectrum. But they are to the right of the British Conservative Party when it comes to healthcare. Because you can run across British conservatives and they would never dream of getting rid of the National Health Service. They will not. my friend Dwight Welch and I had a discussion about how Boris Johnson, who neither of us would support if we lived in the UK, we'd be Labour, Dwight Welch and myself. But we acknowledge that Boris Johnson decided to end the austerity measures of people like Theresa May and David Cameron, who's been way too influenced by the American way of doing politics. And with the Brexit thing and all that, he's kind of bribed the British public and into supporting the Tories, promising to put more money into welfare and that sort of thing. And he's done a better job than Trump or Biden when it comes to fighting COVID in the UK. Now, I'm going to say that no government in the world has really done all that great a job, with the exception of Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand. Their socialist government has done wonders to combat COVID, to the point where every several times a year, COVID is no longer really a problem in New Zealand, where everything is like 99% back to normal. And here in the United States, no such a thing. I mean, everything is just as ass backwards can be, and all of that. So that's pretty much what's been going on. And I'm just, as I said, I like Vaush, but I have my issues with Vaush, and sometimes Vaush can be his takes are kind of cringy. He can be cringy at times. Shoe0nHead, I agree with, and I agree, as I said, largely with Jackson Hinkle on his program. I'm just more of a social democrat, and it's cool if he's a Leninist, and that's cool. I'm a social democrat, but I do like his takes, and I agree with his video stream from last night, which I'm going to put the link down. I'm also going to put the link for Shoe0nHead, and even Vaush. I'm going to put the link down. But I'm also going to put a link down for my Twitch account. I am now on Twitch. So I'm going to try to figure out how to make that first video down the road. But right now, I'm just going to go on Twitch and lurk around and subscribe to a few channels and be just a onlooker, a spectator, that sort of thing. So anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, well, that's okay. We'll have a conversation. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you, to create your platform and utilize it, because we're all the muckrakers of our time, and we need to fight big tech censorship. And so, if you don't have a Twitch account, go on Twitch. Go on all the other video stream networks, so we can do something about this algorithm bullshit that's going on. Feel free to also subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace, class struggle, and let's go and abolish this profit motive criminal healthcare system, and let's have real socialized medicine instead. Da-dum, bum, bum, bum.